Well, I was ready to start filming, but it looks like only one of the horror packs has arrived so far, so I'm gonna wait for the other one. Not it. Not it. Still not it. There it is. Now I feel just like a kid at Christmas. Well, it may be early February, but I've just got the January 2022 horror packs. Apparently there were some kind of postal delays and one of the packs arrived a bit late, but no harm done. They're both here now. They've arrived safely, and as is my way, I'm going to open them up. We'll go through everything that's inside and I'll share my thoughts if I have any. I have, of course, both the DVD and Blu-ray horror packs, so let's just dive right in and see what we've got, shall we? Here comes the first box. Here's one of the horror packs. And here comes horror pack number 2. And there's horror pack number 2. And so, as I like to do, I'm going to open them up, starting with the DVD pack. And the first movie out of said DVD pack is No Such Thing as Monsters. This is a film I'm not familiar with. I like the creepy cover with some woods, some people in the woods, some red-eyed entities of some sort. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the movie. I do like the title, though. According to the back, No Such Thing as Monsters follows a young couple, Mary and David, as they escape into the woods for a weekend away of rest and relaxation. Unbeknownst to Mary, this is to be the weekend in which David proposes. This all changes, however, when they encounter the family, an odd group of individuals who kidnap Mary and David for their own nefarious purposes. A fairly familiar story, but a good story. As long as it's well made, I'm sure I'm going to like it. I'm looking forward to trying No Such Thing as Monsters. And incidentally, the tagline on the front says, "Your parents lied," and that's a philosophical thing that maybe I'll get into at some point, but that's an interesting point that maybe we don't believe in monsters in the supernatural sense, and of course that's what people mean when they say there's no such thing as monsters, but there are such things as monsters in at least a naturalistic sense of the term, and I think that's an interesting sort of dichotomy between real monster and fake monster, or real monster and movie monster. I have no idea if this movie plays with that philosophy at all, but I like the title, and at some point I'll be delving into that philosophy here on the channel, so do make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss it. And next out of the DVD horror pack for January 2022 is Backroad Unrated Director's Cut. Evil Takes a Different Route, it says. This is another one I'm not familiar with, but according to the back, and forgive me for tilting this into the light instead of displaying it, but it's red print on a dark background, so it's a little difficult to read otherwise. The back says, supernatural forces hover over the small Texas town of Backroad in this devilishly intriguing thriller. While his mother and the town's church pay tribute to his recently deceased father, Jasper Hawkins is noticeably absent from the memorial service. He recovers from a previous night of debauchery in a sleazy motel room, as you do. The long walk back into town gives Jasper time to reflect on the disturbing last memory of his dying father and the recent events leading up to this day. A likable yet unnerving traveling salesman offers Jasper a ride that leads him on a bloody road trip culminating in the revelation of a dark family secret. I like the sound of this one. It sounds like there's some good character drama going on, and to me that's what makes good horror into great horror, is when there are interesting ideas or interesting character dynamics, and preferably some of both. And I like the sound of the character dynamics in this one, and it seems like on top of that sort of family drama, which can be horrifying in and of itself, but on top of that we've got some sort of maybe a slasher story should be interesting. Another one I'm not familiar with, but looking forward to Backroad. And third out of the DVD pack, we have Dead of the Night, N-I-T-E, with Tony Todd, which always makes for a good horror movie. That man can do no wrong, it would seem. This is one that I'm not familiar with. According to the tagline, death follows those who seek it, and the description on the back says, "You'll go bump in the night." When a group of internet sensation ghost hunters investigate the infamous Jericho Manor, they soon realize it's not just ghosts that go bump in the night. As each member of the team gets slaughtered, the remaining survivors need to discover who or what is killing them before it is too late. It's a familiar story, as I've said before, but I like a good ghost hunter story. I always like the sort of interaction between what ghost hunters expect during their so-called investigations, because usually they're either just running around shrieking at everything, even if it's really nothing going on, or they're actually making something happen, and sometimes a little bit of both. But in a horror story, if they're doing that and then something really happens, and frauds or just odd people end up faced with something real and serious, that's an interesting dynamic for the characters. It's an interesting intellectual exercise for those of us who are interested in creepy things but also have a sort of scientific skepticism of the supernatural. So I like the sound of the description. I like that it has Tony Todd in it. This ought to be a winner, and that's called Dead of the Night. And last out of the DVD pack, we have Encounter. The tagline says, "Your screams won't be heard." Once again, this is a film that I'm not actually familiar with, so let's just read the description. The description says, "They will never let you leave. Ted McBride and his new wife Lauren move into the country to begin work on filming his thesis project about the study of atmospheric phenomena commonly known as orbs." I'm going to get back to that because I have some thoughts about orbs. As they investigate the reality of these orbs, Ted soon realizes that he and Lauren are being stalked by a mysterious unseen force, the same force that has driven their landlord Jim out of his mind. As Lauren becomes increasingly affected by the evil surrounding them, she and Ted must fight to save each other and escape their nightmare before it's too late. So this does sound like a good movie, and it sounds like there's some overlap between this one and the previous one, Dead of the Night, in that we have some type of paranormal investigator going on to an investigation and then encountering something real that's going on. However, we need to talk about this idea of orbs, because around the paranormal communities, people talk about orbs. These are these little glowing spots that appear in photographs, and people take those to be evidence of ghosts, either to be ghosts themselves or to be somehow connected with the paranormal. They are not. These are photographic anomalies. They're very common photographic anomalies, and any photographer can tell you what an orb actually isn't a ghost, but a little bit of dust that floated in front of the lens, and you had a flash on, and the flash reflected off the dust, and that makes your orb. There are a variety of ways to get different kinds of photographic anomalies. Orbs are probably the most common, but bad photography does not provide evidence of the paranormal. We can talk about paranormal things, and there's some weird stuff out there. And while I'm a skeptic, I'm an open-minded sort of skeptic, so I'm not dismissing things out of hand. But enough with the orbs. This is not convincing evidence. That aside, however, this actually does sound like a good movie, and even though the premise that gets the characters to the place where things are going to happen, even though that's kind of a weak premise, I'm interested enough to be looking forward to trying Encounter. So that's 4 movies that I haven't seen out of the DVD pack, which I like, because one of the things I like about these packs is the opportunity to check out some films that I'm unaware of and that I wouldn't find otherwise. Let's see if the Blu-ray pack continues that trend. And from the January 2022 Blu-ray pack, first up is Prevenge, That's an interesting title. It's not one that I'm familiar with, although it does say it's a Shudder exclusive, and I have to admit, not everything from Shudder has been great, but I've really liked a lot of the Shudder exclusives, so I'm looking forward to trying this one, even knowing nothing about it. It looks like there may be some kind of evil baby or something, because we see a pregnancy photo with a knife on the cover. That's intriguing. Let's read the description. The description says, Ruth's misanthropic unborn baby. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Try saying that 5 times fast. Misanthropic unborn baby speaks to her from the womb, coaching her to lure and ultimately kill her unsuspecting victims. Interesting idea. Struggling with her conscience, loneliness, and a strange strain of prepartum madness, Ruth must ultimately choose between redemption and destruction at the moment of motherhood. Intriguing. We've seen something kind of like this before. It treads similar ground as something like Rosemary's Baby, in that we have pregnancy horror and sort of playing on the very natural and normal horror, or at least trepidation, that comes with such a life-changing event as pregnancy or parenthood. But then we take that idea and we just ramp it up, and in this case it looks like somehow she's being influenced by an evil fetus, which is interesting. In any case, Shudder exclusives have been pretty good in the past. This one has an intriguing sounding plot, and I am certainly looking forward to trying Prevenge. And second from the January 2022 Blu-ray HorrorPack is The Dark and the Wicked. This one is a little bit familiar to me. I have not seen it, I have heard of it, and I've heard some good things about it. I don't really know a whole lot about what it's about. I've just been told by some people whose opinions I trust that this is a film that I should check out. The tagline says, "She told you not to come," and the description on the back says, "On a secluded farm, a man is bedridden and fighting through his final breaths while his wife slowly succumbs to overwhelming grief. Siblings Louise and Michael return home to help, but it doesn't take long for them to see that something's wrong with Mom, something more than her heavy sorrow. Gradually they begin to suffer a darkness similar to their mother's, marked by waking nightmares and a growing sense that an evil entity is taking over their family." Once again, that sounds great, and it's again this idea of putting a horror plot on top of an existing family drama situation. Here we have an illness and family members coming together to try to help, which is always a situation that's fraught with emotion, and then if you put some kind of evil entity or even belief in an evil entity into that situation, it ramps the horror right up. It should make for an excellent film. I've been told that this is an excellent film, and I'm really looking forward to watching The Dark and the Wicked. And third from the Blu-ray HorrorPack, we have Puppet Master. Not the original Puppet Master, though. This is Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich. It says World War III begins on your toy shelf, and this is a sequel, apparently, to the Puppet Master franchise. Let me read the description on the back, which says, Fangoria is back with a truly unrated reimagining of the beloved horror comedy, with all the gory special effects you can imagine. Edgar is recently divorced and returns to his childhood home where he finds a nefarious-looking puppet in his deceased brother's room. He decides to sell the doll for some quick cash at a small-town convention celebrating the 30th anniversary of the infamous Tulin murders. All hell breaks loose when a strange force animates the puppets at the convention, setting them on a bloody killing spree that's motivated by an evil as old as time. Starring a long list of people, Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich brings puppet carnage and mayhem to insane new heights, according to Bloody Disgusting. So this is a sequel to Puppet Master. Of course I know the Puppet Master movies. There are quite a few of them. I've not seen all of them. I've seen at least the first several and a couple of the later ones. And I like the franchise. This is one of the more recent ones. It says here it came out in 2018, so this is probably the most recent one. I don't think there's been anything else in the last couple of years since then. In any case, one of the recent Puppet Master movies, one that I have not yet seen, so I can't comment on the quality of this one, but again, I like the Puppet Master movies, and I kind of like that a known franchise gets thrown in amongst some of the unknown movies from time to time. Always makes for a nice mix in these horror packs, and looking forward to trying this new Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. And so the last one must be the HorrorPack exclusive Blu-ray. Every month, one of the Blu-rays in the HorrorPacks is an exclusive, either a limited edition or a signed edition or a special edition re-release or something that you only get through HorrorPack. Before we get to that one, let me just take just a moment to remind you that it would be very helpful to me if you would take the opportunity to leave me a comment, like this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and do all those wonderful YouTube-y things that we all ask you to do. It really does help us out, helps me to keep making these spooky sorts of videos, and so I would appreciate anything you could do. With that out of the way, let's look at the last and final movie from the January 2022 Horror Packs, which should be the Blu-ray exclusive, and it is. It's HorrorPack exclusive number 67, according to the spine, and that is Bad Dreams. This is the Best of Nightmares Film Festival 2021. Oh, I remember reading about this. The HorrorPack people actually teased this a little bit a few months back, and they mentioned that a film festival compilation was going to be coming at some point, and so I'm looking forward to trying this. I like that this is a collection of films from a film festival, because the benefit of a film festival, or even something like an anthology film or a compilation like this, is that it's useful to see films from writers and directors that you might not otherwise happen across, and it gives us an opportunity to just sample a lot of stuff that's out there. Let me quickly read the description on the back of this one for you. This collection of films, curated directly from the Nightmares Film Festival 2021 program, overflows with a unique mix of subjects, powerful voices, and boundary-pushing stories. Nightmares Film Festival has been named one of the world's top horror film festivals by every major genre outlet, and these films exemplify the outstanding quality of the 2021 festival. I don't know how long these films are. I assume they're short films, but I don't know if these are going to be like 2 to 5 minute short films, or if these are going to be like 20 to 30 minute short films. Either way, I'm looking forward to sampling everything that the Nightmares Film Festival had to offer in 2021. So this should be a real treat to watch, and a real highlight of this month's horror pack. Well, there we go. 8 brand new movies for my collection, and I sort of feel like I hit the jackpot with these, because none of these are duplicates of things that I already had in my collection. They're mostly films that I hadn't even heard of, which I like, because that gives me an opportunity to discover something new. And of the ones that I have heard, I've heard mostly good things, so this should be a really good month for the Horror Pack library. And so with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I'm going to go watch some movies. I'm going to get back to work on preparing the next video that I'm going to bring to all of you. So until next time, as always, take care and stay scared.